Welcome, friends. It is I, Scarf, and it's time for the vlog. And I'm doing this Thursday night because I'm going to be gone from Friday until Monday. Jesus, for Vegas. I'm going to be gone in Vegas, so that's happening. So, Hunbat's Jungle in the background. This is like the first day of Season 3, and I had some frustrations with this one. We do pretty well with Hunbats. We're experimenting a little bit, and you'll see how the experimentation goes. What's frustrating, though, is, of course, my teammates did some things that were a bit not so great. I spent a lot of time telling them how they could have done better, but because of that, I make mistakes, which is unfortunate. There is a Gold Fury steal, though, or is there a Fire Giant steal? I steal one of them with Hunbats. Hunbats is really good at stealing objectives, and so that goes really well. I'm just telling you that now, so you can see that, but in this game, I'm playing Hunbats kind of well, experimenting with them, doing alright. But I'm also telling teammates how they could do better mid-match because they're making mistakes that are kind of not good, and I need to tell them that so they don't keep making the same mistake. Because I can tell they're not figuring it out. And because of that, I make some mistakes in the match. And the reason why this isn't a main game instead of a vlog, and is a vlog game instead, is because I got too frustrated. That's not very entertaining. I got way too frustrated in this match. I just wasn't as entertaining. When I get back from Vegas, we'll see how I do in entertaining again. We'll be doing, of course, Saturday stream. We'll probably do... Oh, I can't do Thursday. Okay, so there will... Alright, Thursday's not going to be able to... I can't do anything Thursday. Friday is going to be the Amiibo fight. I might try to stream... I might have to do 2 streams on Friday. Amiibo and Smite. And then Saturday's going to be Smite, and we'll give away a God Pack. And then Sunday, we're going to finally do XCOM. That's going to be the stream schedule for next week. When I get back from Vegas. So that's going to be cool there. That'll be that schedule. I'm going to see Raijin on... Oh, God, I'm going to see Raijin on Friday. I can't see him any sooner because I have work, which is unfortunate. This is what work does. Work just makes so you can't do as much as you'd like. So I will not be able to see Raijin until freaking Friday. So, damn. So I'm going to be a bit behind on seeing that guy. I didn't have time to do the PTS because I'm making as much content as I can before I leave. It's just a bad crunch. Like, things are just happening. Like, my whole family's going to freaking Vegas and they want me to come. I don't have much choice. When family wants to do something, you don't have much choice, or else... They just, they just look at you weird. So, I had to go with them for this. It was unfortunate, but I'm not going to any more things after this because we're going to be so crunched on time and just doing content after this. It's going to be a little bit frustrating. So I just got to make sure we get back on track and then we'll be all right. But it's going to be a crunch for the next couple of weeks to get just content, to keep content fine. Because we spend a lot of time making content and work gets in the way, school gets in the way, life gets in the way, a lot of things get in the way. So just... We work on as much as we can, as much as we can, and a trip like this is really a big setback for making content, unfortunately. I'm going to use that time to research a bunch of games for one-shots, though, so that'd be good. Like, downtime in Vegas, like when you're resting at the end of the day, I'll spend that time researching and both studying. I got a midterm next Wednesday as well. That's what's going to happen there. We spent an amazing amount of time on a machinima that will come out for Valentine's Day. So look at that. It'll be on Reddit. It'll be on the forums. I'm gonna try to release it while I'm in Vegas and get it all going. So I'm gonna put it on Twitch, and of course it'll be on YouTube. Just get on Reddit and everything. I'm hoping it'll have a good showing on Reddit, and I'm hoping you guys will spread it around because it's a really entertaining video, and I want a lot of people to have fun and enjoy it. Like, it's a really good video. I'm extremely proud of this machinima, so I hope we get shared a lot so a lot of people enjoy it and just love it because it's really good. I'm so proud of this. I'm so incredibly proud of this. I spent maybe 40 to 50 hours on this. Like, I spent way too much time on this machinima. Just all around. Footage gathering, editing, planning it out. I spent so much time on this. And then Jinx spent a lot of time on it as well, just making it better. Like, I did a lot of the work, and then Jinx just polished it and made it so much better than it already was. I'm so proud of this. I'm really proud of Jinx's work on this. It's just so good. I'm hyping it up because it is so good. I cannot wait to see you guys and gals enjoy this one. I really can't. After that, it'll be Kukulkan Guide, which, oh my god, it's going to take some time to get the Kukulkan Guide done because just the crunch of everything happening. After Kukulkan is either going to be a Fenrir Machinima I want to do, or a Tyr Machinima I want to do, or a Xing Shen Machinima I want to do, or this other Machinima I want to do. One of these 4 Machinimas is going to happen after Kukulkan Guide. I just don't know which one it's going to be. It depends on time and what I can really work on, and what footage I can gather and such. It's going to depend on a lot of factors. But that gets pushed back to, of course, I got to work on the main stuff. Got to work on the OP, got to work on Smite, got to work on the one-shots. The Machinimas comes second to that. So do the guides, because it's important to just get our normal content out. So we'll see about that. Fallout, we're nearly done with it. Fallout will end most likely end of February, beginning of March, and then we'll move on to our next game. I already know what it's going to be. I can't wait to play it. I'll play it when we get back from Vegas and after work, because I'm going to be working. There's not going to be any time to play anything because I'm going to be doing so much work. But when I finally get the chance to play it, I cannot wait to play this thing. I know it's going to be pretty fun to do for an LP. And when that's done, I have a specific title I want to do as the next LP. I don't know if we were going to do it or not. And if we decide not to do it, I'll tell you what it is. But I have a specific game in mind. I already know what our AAA game for March is going to be. And yeah, I cannot wait to play it. Whether it's going to be a one-shot or an LP will be decided when I get my hands on it. And it should be good times. Is that everything channel-wise? Oh, Smite. The only balance was Magus. I'm really annoyed by that. They said they're going to balance in 3.3, but I'm still annoyed by that. I'm really annoyed that they haven't balanced anything yet. They're just letting it be. They're letting Conquest be not so great still. I'm really not a big fan of Conquest right now. I'm having fun playing, because if you don't have fun playing, it's not worth playing. So I'm trying to find the fun in there, and so I've just been playing Jungle a lot. I'm just helping viewers get better at the game, because that's important to me. But I know I could be playing better, and I know Conquest itself could be better. It's a bit weird right now where Conquest is, and the fact they only balanced Magus is annoying. Raijin looks really cool, can't wait to try him out, but I'm just really annoyed that there's like one balance, and that's it. And Magus just isn't worth using. Like, there's just better things to pick up than Magus now, so it's just very unfortunate. Magus was a really good answer to, like, middle protections to heavy protections, while Shard was the best super heavy protection item. Now Magus is only good for enemies with, like, less than 50 protections, and who the hell has less than 50 protections except Squishies, who you'll kill with other items already? So, Magus is worthless to me. Like, you have better choices. You're going up that tree, may as well just go Desolation. It'll cost you a little bit more, but that passive's really nice, and all that power on there will overpower the extra 10 protections that Magus does. Of course, it does cost more, but I just see Deso as better. Get Desolation instead of Magus. Screw it. I'll get that. I'm just really disappointed with balance right now, and that's just too bad. I have to accept so many things with Smite, and it gets really frustrating the more things I have to accept. I had to accept that their skins look amazing, but they just really love doing the TNA with the females, which is just, I'd like to see just more badass. Only Bologna gets the badass skins. Like, it's only been her for the most part, so it's very unfortunate. I had to accept that. I had to accept that Hi-Rez is really, it's kind of just really immature in a lot of ways, and it's very trolly, and I had to accept that they're kind of dicks. I had to accept that, so I accepted that. And I have to accept that the balance is not going to be perfect. And I think I already said that like a month ago, that their balance is not very good. They're really bad at it. And that's just something I have to accept. They just keep getting worse at balance. And it's just very too bad. And all I can do is play gods that do well with the balance and not gods. Well, I have to play every god to keep abreast of how well all the gods are doing. But if I wanted to have fun, I know which gods to play. But because I need to make sure I constantly know how all gods are doing in the balances, well, then I'm just not always having fun, because I got to play some of the gods who are just having really bad times in the current balance, which is not so fun. But I have to make sure I know that stuff so that I can advise on that. And yeah, it's just, Smite's just been slowly going downhill for me. There's a lot of things I want to do with Smite. There's a lot of fun ideas. This is why we're doing this Machinima. There's a lot of really fun ideas I'd like to do. But Smite Spectator is a pile of crap, and they have made no moves to improve on it in like a year. And so I'm just really frustrated with that. And I have to accept that their spectators crap. Smite itself was like, why don't we get more Machinimas? Why don't we get more content creators? Maybe because the means to do so is a pile of crap. It is a pain in the ass to make Machinimas. Like, this Valentines Machinima is amazing, and it took way more work than it should have taken, at least to capture the content. There's a lot of little things that we had to do to get the content that it adds up. We've wasted maybe an hour to like 3 to 4 hours. Like, depending on the footage gather at the time, like we waste a lot of time. Well, I waste a lot of time because I do footage gathering. I waste a lot of time just getting the right shot and this and that, because they do like checkpoints. Like, there's no freaking time bar. All other games have a freaking time bar for spectators. You can see exactly this moment and exactly that moment, so you can just go back to the exact moment you want. Smite Spectator is a goddamn checkpoint system, so you have to go back like a minute or 2 minutes to get before the part you want so you can get the shot you want. and then you have to go back again that 1 or 2 minutes again, and then get the shots you want, like every time, until you get the actual shot. Like, it's very frustrating. It's an extremely frustrating spectator, and they've made no moves to improve on it. It's just crap. It is very much crap. What I want to do a kill montage machinima, but it's not going to be a very, very crazy one, because the spectator's just crap for it. It's just going to be gameplay footage, just kind of done with some interesting editing to make it really cool, with some music to match. But it can't be as amazing as I'd like to make it, because the spectator just isn't there. It really is not. And if I just spend a lot of time doing a machinima, which I'm going to do sometimes when I have enough free time to do it, but if I really wanted to make this really amazing thing, it would require double the time it would require with a different kind of spectator. It really would. It just takes way too much time. Double might be overdoing it. 50% more, which is still a lot of time, considering how much time goes into machinimas. So I'm just really frustrated with that. So Scarf's going to Vegas. So I'm tempted to have this titled Scarf Tells Kids How to Gamble. I really am. Just cause. Because let me tell you about gambling. Let me tell you about Vegas. So Vegas is, of course, the crazy place. This is where everyone goes to gamble, goes to drink, goes to do a lot of things. This is Sin City. They've been family orienting it more, though. There's a lot more family oriented stuff. There's like performers in the streets for families, for kids a little bit more. It used to be a lot more, like, a lot sluttier. Now it's become more family fare. There's like people in costume and stuff like that. There's a gigantic Ferris wheel, which is family friendly. At night it's not so, because there's bartenders and stuff, but during the day it's more family friendly. And it's just all around become more of a spot for families instead of a spot for adults to get their drink on. At night it's still that, though. At night you still have drugs, you still have gambling, you still have alcohol, you still have prostitutes, you still have all the sins there still. But it's more late at night than it was throughout the entire day. That's really what's happened in Vegas. Now gambling, I'm Asian. Asians are particular about gambling. They really believe in luck and a lot of stuff. And my dad makes it hard not to believe in luck, because my dad has extremely powerful luck when it comes to gambling. He gets the luckiest stuff happening. It's kind of crazy. There are things called slot machine tournaments. And all it is just you pulling a lever or pushing a button, and by random luck, the things will just line up and give you money, and there you go. My dad's won 3 tournaments in a row in slot tournaments. By random chance, my dad has won 3 tournaments in a row. He's made $30,000 off of this. So, luck is a thing, kind of. Like, holy crap, really? Just pulling a lever. That's it. That's all he's doing. And they randomly give you a machine, by the way. You get a random machine every time you go to a tournament. So, these tournaments are like 3 days long. You play for like an hour. You play for an hour 2 times a day for these tournaments. And my dad just has the stupidest luck when it comes to these slot machine tournaments. It's kind of crazy. And it's just nuts. It's just nuts. I don't get it. It's just nuts. Slot machines are kind of crazy like that. Now, there are some particulars you can do, which is called heating or waiting for it to warm up, which is a way, and that is, if you observe someone just on a slot machine, they're just sucking, like they're just losing a lot of money in a slot machine. If you go on there after them, usually you have a good chance of making money. And this is because slot machines are designed to give out a certain amount of money every hour. So if you see that no one's making any money off this machine, that means it's usually got a higher chance of money being made on it. So that's the time to hop on it. This is the thing that some slot players do. They just watch and they observe and they wait for a machine to lose so much that the odds of it winning go up, because of the fact that they are required to give out a certain amount of money every hour. And so you see slot players who do that. It's kind of crazy. And there's also systems of things. There's a specific way to play blackjack. There's a specific way to play poker, video poker. Certain card games, there's specific ways to play them to up your percentages in winning. Blackjack has certain rules to it that I know the rules to it. My dad knows the rules to it. Like, this is just the way you play it, and this is the way you'll make money. The video version has certain rules to it. The table version has certain rules to it. And of course, it's just a mathematical thing and how you're betting. You're betting for the dealer to bust, basically, when you play blackjack. That's how you do it for the most part. So, like, you get, let's say, the dealer gets a... So the way it would be blank card, and then let's say they show a 4. Alright, and then you get your cards. You got a 17, because there's a lot of royals, so it was like a 10 and a 7. So you get like a king and a 7, you got 17. And they're showing 14. Obviously, you stand. The reason why you stand is because they have to hit. They have to hit on anything 16 and below. So they have to hit. And since there's so many 10s in the thing, there's a chance of them busting. between 12 and, let's see here, the dealer's showing between a 2. Like, if they show an ace, then you got to think about it. But if they're showing a 2 up to a 6, it depends on who the house rules for 7. Up to a 6, what you're basically betting is you're betting that they're going to get a 10 so they can bust. You're hoping they already have a 10, but you're betting that they'll get another 10 so they can bust. So you get however many cards for you to get to a good position, and then you stand. That's basically what you're doing there. And then, if you're lucky, they'll bust. And usually, you're just betting for that. You're betting for them to bust. Now, if they show something like a 9, you assume they have like a 19, and you have to beat that. If you get like an 18 or a 19, you're good. You get a 20, great. If you get a 17, that's where it gets iffy. And it's up to you whether or not you try to get above that 19. But usually the rules are you want to hit about 17 above, just like how the dealer's trying to hit 17 above. But when they show something like a 19 or a 10, if they show a 10, you assume they have a 20. So you're like, holy crap, I got to get a 20 or a 21. And you can hit for that. But if you get like a 19, you're like, okay, what are the chances of me getting an ace or a 2 right now? You got to think about that, and then you just have to decide whether you bet on that or not. Usually on a 19, people will stand, and most people, even by system, you just stand on 19, even if they're showing a 10, which means they probably have a 20, which probably will you lose it. But at that point, you're standing with the belief that they don't have 2 10s. With the hope they don't have 2 10s, basically, and there's your gamble right there. The most skill-based game there is Texas Hold'em. The reason why it's skill-based is because there's bluffing involved. And the bluffing is the skill of it all. Bluffing and figuring out what your opponent might have by their tells and all that. That's the most skill-based game. But you can still lose to people who are just really lucky. You can lose to people who don't bluff, or they're bad at bluffing or whatever, and you see them, you call them on and everything, but they just get the right cards at the end and they win anyway. It's a very frustrating thing, but it's still luck-based because of that, but skill is still there. It's just skill among pros is higher than skill among you and then someone who doesn't know what the hell they're doing. But if you want the most skillful game, it is Texas Hold'em. Now, if you want to play craps, which is just a fun thing to do because you're just throwing dice around, there is a bit of an ebb and flow to it. It depends on really, when you're throwing it, you want to throw it in this, you want to hold the dice in a certain way, you want to throw them in a certain way to hopefully get the same thing happening consistently. The idea is you want to have a consistent movement to how you do things, although there's still a chance, to make the dice land in a certain way every time to move into your advantage. Of course, it's very random because you got 2 dice, but there is a chance of making it always fall the same kind of way you want it, and there's some technique to doing that. But if you see someone who's just really bad at throwing things, like throwing the dice, and it's just really random, you either have your choice of not betting at all, or you bet on how erratic that'll be. It really depends on the tendency of people and how they throw and stuff like that. There are certain things you can see that you figure might happen, and then there's some odd betting in that. Roulette, you're better off just giving me your money and just donating to us, because you'll make better use of it, because roulette is really hard. You can bet on red, you can bet on black, which is not 50-50, it's more like 45 or 47% odds because of the greens, which is the 0 and 00. Einstein once said, you have a better chance of grabbing the chips and running than betting on the numbers. And he's not wrong there. You're betting one number out of like 38. No, is it 38? I can't remember the table right now. Is it 13, 13, 13? 39? 41? I can't remember how many numbers are on the table right now. I don't think it's 13, 13, 13, is it? I think it might be 30, or it's 12, 12, 12. It's either 36 numbers or 39 numbers, and then there's 0 and 00. So I can't remember how many numbers there are exactly, but you're picking one out of all those, or you're picking a row, or you're picking a column, or you're picking a group of 6, or you're picking a group of 4, or you're picking a group of 3. Like, there's a lot of different bets you can make in roulette, but roulette is a very ridiculous game. And you have really bad odds of that. It's a very bad odd game. So you're better off just giving me your money just because I'll do better with it to entertain you guys. But if you want to make money in roulette, red and black's your best chance at it, but it's not really a 50-50 chance, but it's pretty close to it. But there's a weird thing you'll see in physical roulette, and that is sometimes you'll see the same number come up again and again. There was one time in Vegas when I was there where the roulette table hit 10 times out of 15 spins. It was the craziest freaking thing. And it's like, what the balls is going on here? Random chance does things like that. Now, there's also bingo, which is you get a bingo card, and that's very much a lot of chance there. Then there's also Keno. Now, Keno is random numbers out of 80 on the board, and there's some odds there. And Keno is, you play that for fun, you never play it for serious, because you're betting that your number comes up, or your numbers come up. Only 20 numbers out of 80 come out. So 1/4 numbers come out every time, and you're betting on which numbers will come up. And I've seen people bet like $1,000 on one number and lose. There's some crazy bets. This is the wild bet game. Keno requires no skill whatsoever. It's all random chance, though you can kind of try to believe there's some odds here and there to try to get you some wins, but it's really not the best game to play. Now there's Baccarat. This is the rich people game. This is the Chinese game. This is the game that usually you'll see Chinese, maybe Taiwanese as well. Mostly, okay, you see a lot of Asians just play this game. It's usually a lot of Asians, not really a Filipino game, but a lot of Asians play this game. Baccarat is an interesting game where you're betting on the player or the dealer to win a card match, or you're betting on a tie. Now, if the dealer wins, you have to pay a little bit to the dealer. If the player wins, you get all the money. And ties, of course, have higher odds, but they're not easy to do. And what happens is, you're actively card counting, but this is out of like 8 or 10 decks being used. But you're actively card counting and you're going like, okay, this many cards this many of these cards been used, the players won this many times, the banks won this many times, there's been this many ties, and there's a lot of trending going on. And so it's a game that you sit down and play for like 5-10 hours. Figuring out the trends, and you're allowed to have like a board to write on at this thing, and usually people see dressed to the nines while they play this. You'll see people wearing a lot of jewelry while they play it, and it's an interesting game. It's all about figuring out trends, although it's still random chance. There's some trending that they try to figure out, and it's an interesting game. And it's pretty hard to do, but if you can do pretty well with it. Now the game of choice for me and my family is Pai Gow. Pai Gow is an interesting game. This is the drinking game. The way Pai Gow works is you get 7 cards and it runs by poker rules. And the way it works is you make a hand of 5 and a hand of 2. Your 5 hand has to be better than your 2 hands. So let's say you get just what random cards, but you have like 2 pair. You have like a pair of 6s and a pair of 5s. So the choice you can have is you can make your big hand 2 pair and make your little hand whatever your 2 highest cards after that are. Maybe you have like an ace king and you have 2 pairs. So you put ace king up top and then you have 2 pair in the bottom. So that you have at least one strong hand. You have a pretty goodish hand that doesn't have a pair, but it's pretty good. And the way it works is you're up against the dealer, and if the dealer has a better 2 hands than you, like the way it works is the 2 hands go to battle with the other 2 hands. The 2 cards fights the other 2 cards, the 5 hearts cards fights the other 5 cards. If you beat the bank's 2 card hand, and their 5 card hand, you win and you make your money. You pay a little bit of tax on it, but you make double what you bet. Well, you make your bet back, basically. You make your bet and then double that. So there you go, if I've worded that correctly. Now, if you only win one and lose the other, you push. You tie, nobody loses money, no one gains money. And if you lose both, then you lose, they make the money. And you lose your bet, and there you go. Why this is the drinking game is, you can spend a lot of time pushing in the match, where you're just tying all day because you have a really good one hand, but you lose in the other hand. And so you're just tying a lot. So the reason why this is the game you play for drinking is, they give you free drinks in Vegas. If you're playing slots, you're playing roulette, you're playing craps, whatever you play, they will give you free drinks. If you're playing a long time, they'll give you a lot more free drinks. So this is why it's a drinking game. You can sit there for hours just making ties and getting free drinks and just drinking it up and getting more drunk as you go. The reason why Vegas gets you more drunk is so you can get foolish and make mistakes. That's why they give you free drinks. So if you're looking to be an alcoholic in Vegas, it ain't hard to do it. You just need to play Pai Gow. I probably shouldn't have told you that. But that's why Pai Gow is a game of choice for my family. We can just hang out, just sit there, drink however much we want, and just keep pushing and making money. Now, the thing about Pai Gow, though, is there is a bit of a heart of the cards to this, which is a very weird thing. Sometimes the dealer will just be hot, and they'll just be getting full houses and 4 of a kinds and flushes like every hand for like an hour. And it's up to you to recognize that and just stop playing for a while. Or it might be happening to you or one of the other shares where they're just hitting again and again and again. And so you're like, okay, it's hot here, so you bet however much on these things. There's a lot of different odds to this and that going on in the game. There's also bonus hands you can make money on. My dad's gotten 5 aces before, which made him like $5,000. And he tipped the dealer $500. He's like, well, there you go. $500 for you. There you go. Random chance is just a crazy thing. There's also 3-card poker, which is ridiculous. 3-card poker, I'll tell you this story. In 3-card poker, if you can get a 6-card straight flush between you and the dealer, where you have 3-card straight and the enemy has the janker has a 3-card straight, has the same suit, and they just line up, so you've got 2, 3, 4, and they get 5, 6, 7. If you get that, and if you bet that you can get that, which is something people rarely do because, well, it's really hard to get that to happen, but if you bet that this ridiculous set of cards come together, you win $1 million. This happened to a dude. It was a, let's see, was he Vietnamese? I think it was a Vietnamese guy. He was either Vietnamese or he was Laotian. Can't remember right now. But he bet on it and he got it. He made $1 million. 2 hours later, he was still playing and he got it again. He made another $1 million. So he made $2 million in one day. The luck in Vegas can be ridiculous and weird, and this is what happened to this guy. He just hit two right there. $2 million in 3 hours. I've seen two dudes roll up with giant duffel bags full of money. They go over to the roulette table. They have $1 million on them. They bet on black. It lands on red. I have seen that. That is a heartbreaker to see. I have seen $1 million with my own eyes, and I've seen it disappear just like that. Vegas is ridiculous like that. It's a fun place. It's a wild place. It's a crazy place. But you got to understand how to work the place. And my dad has gotten pretty good at it, to the point that like he's made a lot of connections to a lot of casinos. He's made friends with a lot of casino people, to the point that we get free rooms, we get free suites, we get really nice suites. Like I'm talking like high roller stuff. We get to go in the high roller stuff despite not being high rollers, because my dad knows how to work the people, which is really nice. So if you know how to work Vegas, you can have some really good times. If you know how to play the games, you can have a good time. At the end of the day, you're playing for fun, not to make money, because you're likely going to lose. But luckily for my family, we usually break even or make a little bit of money. Or sometimes we make a lot of money, as in the case of my father, who keeps getting thousands of dollars. Now, if you're wondering about sports betting and horse betting, that's basically, if you really know sports, you can do pretty well with that. If you just really understand teams and how good they are, you can really bet the odds and do well there. But the advice has always been, if you want to do well in gambling in sports, you have to treat it as a job, where basically, it's the same thing with stock people. Stock guys study the market all day and all night. Like I don't think it works at night, but they study it all day and they look at the trends at night. They study it all day so they understand the trends of the stock market so they can make all the money. Same thing goes for sports. You're studying every player. You're studying how well they're playing, injury reports. You're looking at the coach's tendencies, the players' tendencies, the offense coordinator, defense coordinator, the weather, how many fans are planning on going there, different kinds of odds. You're looking at everything to see how things will be affected before you bet. And that's usually the major sports bettors. And there's some people who make a living doing that. Same thing goes for horse racing. So horse racing is the same way, where you're studying the horses, you're studying the jockeys, the trainers, you're studying the people who bred the horses, the bloodline of the horses, you're studying a lot of things. You're also studying the politics in horse racing. Because here's the thing about horse racing. Sometimes they'll run a horse really good, and then the jockey will slow down the horse for second place. And the reason for this is they're saving the horse up for a bigger race, because there's some weird politicking where if you win certain races at certain points, then you might not get considered for these other races. Like, the idea is you're just running your horse through its paces so it's got good practice against other horses in races, but then you hold them back for second place. That way it's a good horse. That way it'll be considered for a race with like a specific horse where these specific horses where they're really good, but they don't think that your horse is going to win because your horse has never won. And then you surprise and you hit it and you win it, and then you get a really big purse. This is a weird politics that happens with in horse racing. And so there's something you have to keep in mind as well, and you have to understand the politics and stuff like that for all these things. And I'm just explaining a lot of things. We're going pretty long here. The hunt basket is pretty long, but that's enough telling you kids about gambling. Oh my god. I really want this to be titled Scarf Teaches Kids How to Gamble. Oh my god. But I have a lot of knowledge of Vegas because I've been there a lot of times in my life, and I've observed a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of stuff, and talked to a lot of gamblers who are successful at it, which is crazy, but you can be. It's just how you work it. But there you go. That right there is the vlog. Thank you to Jinx for all of her hard work. Thank you to me for whatever reasons. And thank you, of course, to you guys and gals for watching, for your likes, your dislikes, for everything that you do. Please spread the word whenever you can. It really does help us out. And there you go. That right there is the vlog. I think Huntbats is still going. I had fun talking. Hope you had fun watching and listening. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.